Seems like you've been wasting time trying to find your place in line. You need to get your ducks all in a row. So take some time to understand that life is a race, ooh, for each and every man. Sometimes people we treat you like worn out shoes, but they don't know that you can't lose. Come and be a winner. Be a winner now. Now you're a winner. Oh, baby. Oh, come and be a winner.
Welcome back to CITIUS MAG live from Eugene, Oregon. Chris Chavez and Eric Jenkins, joined by the one and only Emma Coburn, who I guess like we could add now just like NBC cameo broadcaster to the resume. How do you think it went?
I had so much practice with you guys that I felt good. Yeah, it was fun. It was the fact that it was a prelim was nice, relaxed, easy practice. But I got to just hang out with Kara and chat, and I didn't get too nervous and hide under a table and throw a mic at her, which was my fear. So nailed it.
I think like being surrounded with like Kara and the NBC team probably made it just so much more comfortable, right?
Yeah, the wild thing though is when you're wearing the headphones, all the stuff that the producer is saying,
I know.
And then there's a guy with a whiteboard that just like leans over and shows you what all of the last splits were, like every lap split and what pace they're running. And then another person pops in with a note card to tell you a stat about this person and a fun fact. Or then when there was the fall in the first heat, they're like, all right, we're going to cut your mid-sentence. And they're like, we're cutting to the replay of the fall. And then you have to just, obviously, Lee and Kara have so much experience that they were fluid, but you have to just not be like, oh, okay, what do you say? Like, but it was fun to see behind the scenes a little bit. But everyone was very nice and welcoming, and it was easy.
Yeah, so overall, great experience and had a lot of fun.
Would you do it again for the final, or too
I have not been
pressure?
invited to do the final. The
Okay.
deal,
Yeah.
the first request was just for the prelim. So
Yeah.
I don't think I haven't been invited for the final, and I.
Well, it's also hard with Gabby being in the race.
Yeah, but I was less nervous watching
Okay.
while I was doing the broadcast because I had
You're so
to
focused,
focus.
yeah.
But I was sitting in the booth when the men's 15 was going on, and it was so intense. And I was very glad I wasn't calling that, and I'm very glad I wasn't calling the women's 8 either, because those were just those races in general are so fast that the announcers and broadcasters have to be so on it, and Kara does a really good job at that. But it was also just so tense and stressful, and the women's 5 was also fun to watch, and of course that last lap was dramatic and that finish was dramatic, but the men's 15 and the women's 8 specifically were so intense yesterday that I don't think I could have done those.
We had Centro on last night, and he was kind of dissecting the races. So for the first round of the steeple, like, was there anything that really stood out to you about just how those races were run?
I thought they were run in a way that are not surprising, that I would have executed those races similarly. Gabby specifically ran her race pretty much how I've run a lot of my prelims, where your first 2K, you're super relaxed, not thinking, not doing anything, but it's so claustrophobic when you're in that cluster of people trying to hurdle and trying to water jump. And so the second you get your opportunity to get out of that and to start accelerating, you kind of hit the gas hard, and she definitely did that. And so that wasn't surprising to me because I know that exact feeling of wanting to open it up a bit. And then in the first heat, I wasn't surprised that Courtney Waymet just wanted to kind of run an honest pace the whole time. She's pretty consistent at that. So I thought both heats, the top women looked really good, and I'm not surprised with who those top few finishers were in each heat. I thought they all looked good. Yeah,
it looked like in both of them, it was like the top 4, top 3 of each one are like the contenders to make the team.
Yeah, there weren't any shocks or surprises, I don't think. And I know I made a rule with you that like I'm not going to make predictions, but I did think that the top 3 girls in the first heat looked really relaxed, that they looked really, really good. And then, of course, I thought Gabby looked amazing in her heat. So those 4 are kind of, I thought the people who looked the strongest yesterday, but you never know. People can come out of the woodwork. People can really throw down.
The first round at a U.S. Trials, just picking your brain because you've been to so many of these World Championships and Olympics, like how different is that from like the first round at a World Championships or Olympics?
This is definitely more relaxed. I remember telling some athletes at the last Olympics who were steeplers who were first-time steeplers who asked, my advice. I was just saying the prelims at the Olympics will be the hardest race you've ever run in your life thus far. Harder than the Olympic trials final, harder than a Diamond League. So that the Olympic prelim is so challenging because everyone is full send. There's not really like slow tactical racing. But it's still chaotic and not like a clean race like a Diamond League would be. And so this prelim compared to that is so much more relaxed. You still have to be really on guard because, of course, you can fall and anything can happen, especially when you're hurdling in a cluster. But it was the prelim here is harder than the prelim at a team for Worlds, but it's like night and day compared to the Olympic prelim. So I think yesterday everyone looked like pretty relaxed. Totally. They seemed to handle it.
How do someone you've been on multiple Olympic teams with, Evan Jagger, finished 4th. How do you think his race went? How do you think he's feeling out there right now?
Evan is the type of runner that you think all steeplers should look like. You know, his legs are long, he's lanky, he's very fluid over the hurdles. He has, typically in guys, you don't see as much, picture like Courtney Frerich's hurdling. She has that front leg straight out, really kind of graceful and like a gymnast. Typically guys don't do that quite as much, I think just because the barriers are higher, and Evan does that a little bit more compared to most guys. And so I think his hurdle form is really pretty, and so when you watch he just makes it look really easy. And so of course he's had a couple years of injuries and he's had some setbacks, and so to see him come back and just kind of slip back into the body language that he used to have when he raced and look really nice was really fun to see, especially for like the old vets.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, it'll be weird to see, or interesting to see what this week is like with
the time trial
chasing the time
on Saturday.
And it's awful to finish the race and still have a question mark on what's going to happen, whether, to have it still be open. And so for both guys, I feel for them because it just must be a really tense week.
Yeah.
I guess like just one other sort of like buzzy topic that everyone's talking about kind of like after last night, like that women's 800 and just like the total shocker of Athingmo falling. It was so late it was 200 meters into the race. It's too late to call people back at that point. And there's really like nothing, protesting it. We watched the replay. Like it looked like it was her fault, I guess, for trying to cut in. And, it's unfortunate what happened. She's not on the team, probably won't be added to the 1500. I don't think that's a possibility. Can't run on the relay unless she goes out and runs a crazy 400 in the next couple days that makes it tough for selectors. But what people are talking about online, this could be probably on message boards, on what I'm seeing on Twitter too, is just sort of that. It's like the U.S. system. Should we adopt like how some of these other countries do it, where it's like the top 2 at the trials, automatic spots, and that third is a discretionary one, so that if something happens like this to a top star, they get the name to the team. I think us, like, we're all kind of like in universal agreement. Centra was too last night. I think this is the model that we should keep it. I mean, what are your sort of thoughts?
I agree. I feel like this is a model we have to have. There's so much depth in the U.S. that if you had discretionary spots, it would become so political. And even if it truly was pretty cut and dry of who that discretionary spot should go to, there would always be a way to argue it. And given how One Shoe Company sponsors USA Track and Field, I think that would cause a lot of resentment from athletes from other brands thinking they had some extra sway on picking spots. So I think that I agree with you guys that this is the most fair way to do it. And I think this way makes Team USA better at the Olympics because we're so used to having that high pressure situation where your taper has to be perfect. Your prep has to be perfect. That day you can't get sick. You have to line up and be perfect. You can't false start. We just have no room for error here in the U.S. And I think that makes us excellent once we get to Worlds and the Olympics because not many countries have that type of pressure during their summer leading up to the games for an individual performance. And so I think it prepares us well. But I was talking to someone yesterday that I was like, it would be nice if there was per country one spot that you could just say, of all the men and women, this one spot we get to have 4 people in this event, and we have this one discretionary special spot, and that would go to a thing.
You could see him making that role now.
It was It was always just we would have this conversation when Allison Felix was so dominant of saying if Allison ever false starts or her shoe comes off, like she needs to be on the team. She needs to be there, and so it's. The athletes practice and you get to have this really hardened skill of racing under pressure and having rounds and having to be on your A game. By the time you get to the Olympics, you have that practice, but there's always like one athlete that pops in your head of like, if that athlete is not on the team, like it's heartbreaking. And I think a thing was that for a lot of people, and that's not taking away from any of the women that made the 800 team. I think that team is so intriguing and exciting, and the fact that they're first-time Olympians, the hope and the future of track is all there, and that's really exciting to pour interest into. But I wish we could send 4 girls.
Right.
And I feel for Sage too. Sage and Raven both got caught up in that tumble, and I think they had really great chances of making the team, and so it's such a bummer that happens, and I feel for everyone for sure.
I guess tough question. If you were in Sage's shoes, right? Like, that race doesn't play out how you wanted. Your possible best shot to make the team, what maybe you've been tailoring your whole entire training all year. Probably, I think when I've spoken to her, she was like, there's a lot of 400, 800 specific work. Now you got to shift gears for the 1500 and 3 rounds of that. How would, if it was you, how would Emma have approached that? Disappointment and then kind of having to come back I guess the revenge tour that starts now.
Yeah. I mean, we saw this with Brenda Martinez in 2016, and she went on to make that 1500 team after getting caught up in a fall in the 8. And so it's been done.
Yeah.
And Sage is a pretty level-headed, kind of serious, dedicated, focused person, and so in regards to her running, and so she's not overly emotional, and so from everything I know about her and observe with her, she's definitely able to just shake this off better than most people could, refocus and lock in. And I think that's just it probably just depends on the type of person you are. If you're able to not be overly emotional in this great heartbreak and kind of reset and refocus. And we won't really know how that process worked for her until the 15 start, because it is so emotionally exhausting that even if you're telling yourself, I'm focused and I'm ready, there's a side that's been depleted just emotionally and physically from running 3 rounds. But yeah, she's from everything I know of her, she's a very she's the type of athlete that could get it done.
Yeah, it's sort of like in any other sport when a team goes down like 3-0, like everyone just kind of references, oh, like the 2004 Red Sox, were able to come back, and it's like Brenda being just kind of like that proof in history. Like there's a degree of hope, I think, if you're a big fan of Sage. So we'll have to wait and see. All right, so Emma, I think you've got a compliment here in the YouTube chat. They said instantly it felt like Emma could have a successful broadcasting career post running. Did a great job.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, hopefully I don't get too much more practice at it. Hopefully I'm on the track competing.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, no, it was a good time, and it was a nice distraction to have while here. But
so what's on tap today, I guess, in terms of workout, like bike?
Bike.
What do you
yeah,
got?
Like
what do
some
you
bike.
think I
Yeah.
have going on?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I want Eric.
I bet
take
you.
a prediction.
Let's see, what time is it? It's about noon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming a couple more hours on the bike.
I do
Yeah.
have 2 more hours on the
Yeah,
bike.
there we
Yeah.
go, yeah.
So I'm gonna sit on the bike.
Do you for your multiple hours of the bike? Do you do it all at once, or do you break it up throughout the day?
This trip, it's been broken up a little bit more
Yeah.
just because I'm watching track and hanging out with people. But typically, I'll do most of it all in one chunk. So 5 hours just at once. And so I'm gonna go to my hotel, and my room's starting to get a little musty with all the biking. So my windows don't open, in my hotel room. So
Hotel room windows, classic.
yeah, so I'm afraid how my room is going to be smelling on Sunday or Monday, but yeah, so far it's fine.
Yeah, that's the maid's problem.
Yeah, that's Joe's problem, really. Yeah. He's dealing with it.
Awesome, Emma. Well, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks.
And it's been a eventful first couple of days for Team New Balance, and we'll be coming up shortly with Kendall Ellis, who won the women's 400. We'll be right back.
Seems like you've been wasting time trying to find your place in line. You need to get your ducks all in a row. So take some time to understand that life is a race. Ooh, for each and every man. Sometimes people we treat you like worn out shoes, but they don't know that you can't lose. Come and be a winner. Be a winner now. Now you're a winner. Oh, baby. Oh, come and be a winner.
and field fans. I am here with Anderson and the Kendall Ellis. Give her a round of applause, Anderson. Yes, yes,
Of course.
If y'all don't know who she is an Olympic champion, but now she can add U.S. champion to her lovely resume. She's had a couple of collegiate records. She's a national champion for the NCAA. Now she's a national champion for the U.S. She's about to make her way to the Olympics and whoop some butt. Are you ready, Kendall?
I'm ready with an intro like that.
Okay, let's go. Hold on. Actually, your flight is right now. We got the plane out front, so we're going to see y'all later. We're going to tap back in.
Nice. Well, Kendall coming off the national title, not only a national title, but personal best, back-to-back rounds. I mean, how did you make that happen?
Ooh, I keep saying it, just pure belief. Like, I kept telling myself in the blast, it's like, why not me? Why not me? Someone has to win. Why not me today? So just really gunning for it. Like, I've seen what I've seen in practice. My coach has seen things, and we were like, you know, you're on track for it. So it's just up to you to go out and do it.
Yeah.
But that was 6 years in the making, though. So, I mean, that took a lot of patience and, like, dedication. Yeah. Obviously, you've had some success in between. It's not like, okay, you were sitting around at home being a bum. Like, obviously,
Kendall's kind of been cooking for years.
According to this World Athletics profile, you've been cooking for a hot minute. Since you stepped out of school, you've been cooking.
Yeah.
So it's not like you were sitting around and not, you know, really having, like, some substance to your name. But obviously, like, one of the main things that you were chasing was to be able to continue to better yourself and continue to improve yourself. And it took 6 years to get there. So, like, what was keeping you motivated from just being like, you know what, screw all this. Like, it's just not going to happen. Or, you know, maybe still staying in the sport, but, like, kind of just giving up on the dream of, like, running a faster time.
Yeah, I think, like you said, just having those successes within the 6 years. You know, I made the world team. I made the Olympic team. I made another world team. So I had those things to keep me going, like, okay, maybe I don't need to PR in order to still accomplish these other goals. So at the end of the day, I want to make team. PR is cool, but if I'm PRing and I'm not making no teams, then
But the money ain't coming in, Bookie.
Right.
Money not coming.
So yeah, things like that. Just those other goals really kept me afloat in the back of my head. I was always like, a PR would be nice though. Like it has been a little minute, so it would be nice. But yeah, just I don't know, just focusing on those things that like there's still wins within this waiting period.
Yeah. How have you kept like resilient? Because on paper, right, you haven't. I don't even think you broke 51 seconds this year.
I didn't.
Right?
And speaking of that, like it was people on social media that was trying to cook you because they was like, I can't believe Kendall's only running 52 seconds indoors. Like the state of the women's 400 is garbage, and you just like,
people are
girl,
terrible.
calm down.
Yeah, like
She's
relax.
blocked now.
Relax.
First of all.
Right? But I mean, how is it that you're able to like, you know, you see all these other people dropping 49s or 48s, but you're like, nah, like I got this. I'm gonna come here and I'm actually gonna not only make the team, but you gonna win.
Yeah, truly just minding my business. Like honestly, just
I like that.
minding mine. Like what everyone else has going on has nothing to do with me. I deleted Twitter. Like
Nice.
I just don't. That's none of my concern. No one knows what I'm doing at practice beyond my training partners and my coach. They don't.
So I can get the
see.
workout plan? Dang.
I have to talk to Coach Watts on that one.
That's what I was going to ask you for the next question. No, I'm stop playing.
Yeah, just really minding my own. Like I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks or what anyone else sees or doesn't see. It's me when I step onto that track. It's no one else. It's strictly me in that lane 8, but strictly just me. So focusing on that.
I got a question to that though, because something that a lot of, you know, like coaches and like obviously like other athletes will say is like, you got to be a student of the sport. Yeah. But obviously like what you said, like you found it's best for you to really just mind your business, focus on yourself. You know, you see your teammates in practice, but like outside of them, like you're not super focused on like what other people are doing. But like I said, like coaches are like, well, no, you need to pay attention to who's number one in the world. You need to see how your competition's running. Like you need to know like what their strengths and their weaknesses are. So like, how do you balance like being a student of the sport while like literally staying in your own lane and not worrying about anybody else?
Yeah, I have a great coach, Quincy Watts, and he's known me for 10 plus years at this point. So we have a very long relationship, a great relationship, and he knows the kind of athlete I am. And so he operates, you know, differently with Mike and Rye than he does with me. He knows us personally. So for him, you know, we go out, he's like, do you know your lane? I'm like, no. He's like, me neither. I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to find out when we get to the track.
Nice.
And from there, it's kind of like looking at it, and he'll tell me if there's something I need to see. He'll look at it and be like, okay, so-and-so's in your heat. How does she normally run? And I'm like, oh, like she likes to get out hard. And he's like, okay, well, then we build a plan off of that. But ultimately, it's just people are going to do what they do, and you can study them as much as you want. Like, I'm sure people didn't expect me to go out in 23.6, but I did. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, you can only study so much, and it's having that balance between coach and athlete of knowing like, okay, he's got my back. I'm going to do my job. He's going to do his.
So it's kind of like letting the coach take control as opposed to like you trying to find stuff yourself.
Yeah, I have a good coach. So, hey, that's part of the job.
Nice. So let's backtrack to this semifinal round. I know we spoke about it in the mix zone, but we gotta tell like the fans like what was going on in the background. An hour before the race, you're stuck somewhere. Like, what? Can you tell us the story?
My trauma. That's now a clickbait headline.
Yes.
My trauma.
Yes. We're feeding off of
something worked. Something worked. So I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm about to go warm up, and I'm like, let me go to the bathroom really quick. And they have like these nicest porta potties out here, and so I go into the porta potty and do my business, and then I'm trying to unlock it, and I'm like, it's a little funny, and like it won't unlock. And I was like, okay, like it's okay, just try it again. And I'm continuing to try, and then I start sweating because it's a 4x4 box, and I'm like, it's not like the lock's not clicking, the lock's not going, and I'm just looking around for another exit, even though I know good and well there's one entry and one exit. I'm sweating, I start tearing up, and I'm like, okay, I was like, you still have to race, so you can't get your emotions too high, like all your adrenaline's gonna go. I'm like, you have to calm down. And I'm really just sitting there sending a prayer. My Apple Watch not connected to my phone, so I can't text or call no one. And I'm like, all right, bang, just start banging. I'm pounding on the door. There's only a slit at the end. I'm like, help me. And thankfully a worker comes over and he's like, hello? I said, I'm locked inside the porta potty. And he's like, oh my gosh, like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, like, the lock is not going.
Like, do you hear me screaming?
Right, I've been in here for 5 minutes at this point trying to calm myself down. I'm like, it's not working. He's okay, I'm gonna get help. I said, don't leave me. I said, please don't leave me. And he's like, I'm not, like, okay, like, he said, he's banging from the outside. I'm still banging. We're still jiggling. And then finally he like knocks it hard enough and I knock it hard enough at the same time that the latch jimmies and I'm out. And I was like, he's like, do you have to run? I said, I have to go run the 400. And he's okay, like, take a deep breath, like, you're out, you're okay, you're out. And I'm like, yeah, like, I'm okay. So, I mean, it worked. It got all my nerves out. It got the adrenaline
Do you remember
going.
the guy's name?
No, but shout out to you, kind sir, because thank you for saving the day. Thank you for helping me get my title.
New Balance used to give him like a pair of shoes or
Listen.
something. Because like, if it wasn't for him, baby.
I'm here. We got to bring porta potties to Paris.
Listen,
Is that what's gonna happen?
Coach Watt said he needed to lock me in there for 15 minutes for finals. He's like, if that's what it
15 minutes?
takes. He's like, that's
He's trying to get you to run 48.
Listen.
Hello, shoot, 48, babe. You're gonna be on that podium. So look.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. So you get to set a personal best in the semis, get to the final, but even before the final, you were in lane 8.
It
You
was.
were in lane 8. How does that happen? Because you were one of the top qualifiers going into the final. How did you end up in lane 8?
UCTF, you tell me. How did I end up in lane 8? I don't know. A little weird. A little odd. But like I said, I like to mind my business. So
That's fair.
out in lane 8, minding my own. Get out. If I don't see nobody, I'm good. I'm in good standing. But
There you go.
yeah, let's find that out.
No, but like you're a very tall individual too. Because I remember
am.
when I was at D3 Nationals my junior year, I'm sitting here looking at Coach Ryder. I'm like, girl, they got me in lane 9, lane 8. One of these lanes. I said, no, like we gotta figure something out. And she's like, girl, you're literally 5'10". Like
Yeah.
you need to be on
It's
the
good
outside
for the
line.
tall girls.
I said, girl, I don't care. You gonna have me running for my life. Everybody trying to make the finals. Like fix it now. She's like, it's nothing that we can do. And then crazy thing is, end up making the final.
Look at that.
I got stuck right back
Listen.
in lane 8. I said, you know what?
It was preparation.
I just feel as though that they got it out for the tall girls, and I
They
understand that it's better for us to be out there, but mentally, that is a game I do not like to play.
It's certainly a game. But, I've had, like, weird lanes all season, so I was prepping for that, and I had a great lane in the first round and the second round, so, hey, it's all good.
And what's the preparation like for an Olympic trials? You've been here before, last time when you got 4th place, and like we saying, the season wasn't as great. But I feel like I remember talking to you in Atlanta, and you were like, yo, I'm coming. Like, I could do this. So how is it that you mentally prepare to come here for the biggest stage, right? Come in to make an Olympic team?
I think, I don't want to say downplaying it, because it isn't important to me, and I understand what's at stake, but kind of just taking it like another me in the sense of the way I was preparing for it. Like, I didn't change my routines. I didn't come out and like do something wild or that I wasn't used to. It was like, I go so far as to like pack the same skincare that I use at home. Because I'm like, it's just another day. Like, I bring my same bonnet, my same silk pillowcase that I have at home. Like, we're making it like another day waking up in Los Angeles. And so I think kind of keeping that level-headed and calmness and not getting too amped up about like, oh my gosh, this is the Olympic trials. It's 400 meters. It's a track. It's a track I ran on. It's a track I know. And just elevating along with it. So that respect of knowing this is Olympic trials, it's a big deal, but also like it's track and field. It's another track that you're running on again at another meet.
I think what's interesting about like the 400, I feel like, you know, there's been a lot of people like running a lot of fast times, right? And so like sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, dang, like are people like gonna have to run 48 to make this team? Like are they gonna have to run like 49-1? I mean, like when you look at Kaylin Brown, like girl, you freshly 19 years old, was running 53 last year, equaled the collegiate record that was from last year, but your teammate beat it in the same heat. Like it's just a lot like so going on.
Yes.
And I know you say like you stay in your own lane, but like if you did catch wind of like how fast people were running, like how did you not let that stop you from being like, no, like let's just go out there and compete? Like I'm not really trying to chase the time. I'm trying to chase like getting to the line first.
Yeah. I definitely caught wind of it. It was hard not to. They were rolling, and I was here for nationals, so you know I got to really see it. But
it's like, oh, I got to do that.
Yeah,
nice.
I said, oh, okay. I was like, cool. It'll click when it needs to click. Really, just keeping that hope alive of like telling myself over and over again, it's gonna happen when it needs to happen. Like God made me who I am, and when it's supposed to be, that's when it's gonna be. No earlier, no later. So kind of just resting in that, like. If it's supposed to happen, it's gonna happen. Like I said, I know who I am finally, and I've seen what I've seen at practice. And my coach and my training partners, Mike and Rye, have been constantly filling me with like after workouts. They're like, that was a 49 workout. Like then, and, like, do you see that? And, like all you have to do is go and do it. It's quite literally already there. You just have to be the one to do it. So, really resting in that confidence, like that quiet assuredness of like. Yeah, they're like that, but I'm like that too. Like me too. I'm in there with them. I am one of the big dogs. I'm not looking out like, oh man, like I wish I could do that. Like I'm gonna go do that too.
Yeah, you've done it. And 49.46.
Yeah.
That's one of the fastest times run at Olympic trials. You're talking about like Sonia Richards-Ross has run a little faster. I don't even think Allison Felix has run as fast at Olympic trials. Like you're one of the greats out here.
You listen, Kendall been on one. That's all I'm saying.
So are there some of those people that you looked up to when you were like growing up, or like some of the other 400-meter runners through history that you've looked up to?
Yeah, definitely Sonia Richards. That was like one of the first people who like. I'm not someone who's been watching track since forever. I've been running since I was 7, but I don't think the first Olympics I watched was 2016, and that's because I had a friend in it.
Oh wow!
My parents were like, "Come," and I was like, "Okay, cool." Like going back upstairs,
girl, what's going on?
So, but yeah, Sonia Richards was probably the first athlete that I was like, oh wow, like that's so cool. We went to the same high school, grew up in like the same Pembroke Pines, Florida area, and I just remember being like, wow, I'm literally like following in her footsteps, and this is so cool, and getting to meet her and have conversations. I was like, incredible. So it's nice to be in great company and be a part of that. I didn't know, but
yeah, you were one of the fast. Don't downplay yourself. So yeah. And you spoke about, Michael Norman, Ryan Benjamin, all them. Like, Michael Norman obviously ran after you. He made the team. What was the reaction for you once he got on the team?
Excited, but knowing Michael's going to be who Michael is, and he was always going to do that. I never had any doubts about Michael making the team. So it was just like, I think for us in that trainer group, this is a stepping stone. Yeah. And, we're happy. We celebrate the accomplishment. Great that we're there, but work is not finished. Like now this is simply a stepping stone to the bigger things, and 49.4 is great. I'm excited about it. I'm glad to have the win. I'm certainly grateful for that and soaking it all in, but we have to go do something in Paris now. So that's the next step.
So no celebration. You're not. Let's say that.
What you wanted to go to the Wild Dust tonight or something? Come on now.
Well, all right. So
I had a cheeseburger.
Girl.
Just a cheeseburger. We gotta order her something right now. So, all right. So we saw Fred make the team.
Yeah.
You made the team. Michael made the team. We got Isaiah Jewett. He's potentially up there. Ryan Benjamin is looking good.
Yeah.
What happens if all of y'all make the team? Like, y'all have
to
go.
So then we got to figure out which coach is like the most like in their training group. Because
right
now Dennis got a lot of people.
Quincy's looking good right now.
Hold on, we're gonna have to have a tally up by the end of the week, man.
Southern California is looking crazy right now. So
it is.
I mean, what would the celebration be like if all of y'all went back to LA? All with titles,
They're
all with
going to the Wild Dust.
Like
can't disclose.
What does that mean, ma'am?
Everyone's entitled to their privacy.
No, I think that means something a little different.
She's being nice.
But no,
Work's not done. No, we about to
yeah,
get crazy.
I think it's up in Paris. It's up in Paris. I'll say that much.
We go to the club.
You know,
Yeah.
the Parisian streets. Afterwards.
This is what happens when you make an Olympic team. It gets crazy.
So like, you know, I know this probably is going to be a little while for you because you know you're really on your road now. So I don't expect you to be leaving us. You better not leave us.
Of course not.
In like the next couple years, okay? You got some time. But whenever you do decide that you want to transition out of being one of the fastest American women to ever do it, like what else do you want people to like know you for? Because like I've talked to Bryce Dedman about it, and when he was talking about, you know, him being at Texas A&M, he was like, y'all, I had a whole job lined up before I signed with Nike because I didn't even think that like me going to the Olympics and like me doing all this stuff was gonna happen. But he was like, well, since it happened, I might as well be on a roll with it. And obviously, like he's been with Nike ever since. But he was like, when he had made, you know, came to peace with the fact that he might not, you know, be a pro like after he finished, he was like, well, I want people to know me for more than like just being a track athlete. Like when somebody like reads my eulogy, I want it to be like, yeah, Olympic champion, but like XYZ, ABC, whatever the case is. So like, what do you want people to like know about you, or like what do you want to have yourself invested in like after you transition out of track?
Yeah, I say mentorship has been huge for me. Like growing up in the sport, I always wanted a mentor and just someone to ask questions and like figure out the process and all that kind of stuff. And thankfully I found that like now years later, but I definitely want to be known as someone who people, if they message or DM, they get a response. It might take a while, it might take a few days, but like I want you to know that like, oh, I messaged Kendall Ellis and she gave me this great advice on like this and that. I don't ever want to be too big or like too high and mighty to think that you can't come talk to me and ask me questions and I respond back and I have a full conversation with you. That's something I take pride in. I think I do a pretty decent job of communicating with people at meets. I'll try to stop and chat with them, or like parents and all that. So just someone who was passing on what they knew about the sport and everything that they've learned and being honest with you about it. So that's what I want to do. I think still have a role in the sport, still be around it, but not the one running, child. Like,
Speaking of like being honest, like what's some of like the difficulties that just, like you've had to go through? Because I feel like one thing that like I've been like noticing is when professional athletes say like track is hard, I feel like they're not necessarily talking about the workouts. I feel like you guys can, obviously, like, you're never going to get used to, like, if your coach is like, yeah, we got, like, 10 400s today, but, like, at least, like, in your brain, you can kind of, like, conceptualize it, go along with it. You're like, okay, I know and I can deal with the fact that, like, I'm going to be in pain, like, almost every day for, like, 11 months out the year. Okay, fine. But I feel like they start to talk about a whole bunch of, like, other things behind closed doors, whether it's, like, something dealing with contracts. I mean, I know we was talking about, like, health insurance and stuff downstairs. Like, there's a lot of stuff that happens that can like make it very stressful for somebody to want to continue to be an athlete. So either for you or like from what you've observed, like what are some things that make it difficult to like continue to be a track athlete outside of like getting through workouts?
Right. You know, this is a conversation that goes around all the time, but like what is the definition of a professional track and field athlete? We don't have a distinction between amateur and pro. It's you graduate college, you no longer have eligibility, and now you're in the professional ranks. So figuring out that definition, figuring out how to get an agent, which agent wants to work with you, getting into meets. It's not always just based on how fast the time is. Of course, there are politics that go into things. It's getting a sponsor. Initially, when I came out of school, you know, coming out NCAA record holder, indoor American champ, it took me 6-7 months to sign a deal. And it's just like things like that aren't, I don't want to say they aren't discussed because they are. I just think people aren't listening, and it's not coming from the athletes that you typically hear from. So you don't know what you don't hear. But things like that, trying to find competitions, trying to get prize money earlier than 3 months after the meet. Just there are so many other difficulties in this sport, and it's not just, there are so many things that it takes to get to your favorite athletes for them to get to the line, whether that's physical, financial, mentally, emotionally, just there's so much that it takes to get there, and it's not purely just running.
Why don't you think that a lot of athletes, because it's true, it's like there's so many athletes who are quote unquote professional that make up the majority of the sport, but they're making probably less than the average person who works a regular job, right? But why isn't it that that's a larger conversation, or more people in track and field speak up? Like, are athletes nervous? Do they feel like, oh, if I say this, maybe a sponsor won't, want to come with me or something like that? Or I don't know what.
I think it's exactly that. I think it's just the nerves surrounding it. It's like, contracts, the way they're written, things that are said in there, certain stipulations. And so it's a nerve-wracking conversation to have, but it's an important one that we have to have in order to move things forward. It's never going to get better if we don't discuss it, if we don't talk about it, if we don't try to shed light on it. So I think there are ways to do that, with protecting yourself, of course. At the end of the day, you are a brand, you are representing a brand as well. But to get the sport better, we gotta have uncomfortable conversations. Like nothing gets settled without talking about it.
And I feel like there have definitely been, I guess, a couple more conversations over the past year or two. But I think something that I've noticed is that the conversations will be had, and then it'll kind of die down in between the next bigger conversation.
Yeah.
Let's say you, Kendall, today you're let's make a big fuss about this on Twitter. Cool. Everybody's chatting about it for a week. Then maybe 6 or 7 months later, now Anderson, now you're saying something. It's we got this whole rah-rah, but then nothing ever comes from it. And so I don't know if it's athletes behind closed doors are taking this information and doing what they can to fix the system, and they're not really saying anything about it, or if it's genuinely we talk about it, but we're not really with the action. So I mean, I know this is a kind of a loaded question, but what do you feel we can do, or what do you feel athletes can do to kind of keep the conversation going in between those big moments?
Yeah, it's hard, and I'm guilty of it myself, because I have these discussions with friends and in private and now with y'all, but it's we need, I don't want to say we need an old head. I am an old head. Kind
You're
of.
not an old head. You're not an old head.
We need somebody who's been in it for a minute.
We need somebody who really knows the ins and outs, and I just kind of a leader. But it's we all have these ideas, and we all have these, I think we're all on the same page. But like you said, because there is no definition of a professional track athlete, it's who do we include in these conversations? Is it every single person who's stepping out on the track? Is it the people who made the team? Is it the people who are at trials? Is it people who are still in college?
Which is so strange.
It's a lot.
Because with track and field, it's one of those sports where it's just it's all purely who's faster. Even continue to talk about Dylan Beard again. He literally won Melrose Games. Let's say he became a world champion or Olympic champion or something like that, and still didn't have a contract. Are y'all would you still not count him as a professional athlete? But it's he's literally, you know what I'm saying? It's such a weird way to try to figure out what the definition is, because there are a lot of athletes that are literally world class, that have gotten medals, that have done amazing things, but they don't have shoe contracts. So it's do you not count them?
Right.
It's do you want to make it based off a certain ranking? You have to be, I guess, top 100. Either you can have a contract, or you have to be top 100 or something like that. It's, I don't know.
Yeah. So what would be your definition? Because I've had this conversation. I'm what do we define it as?
Yeah, it's wild. It's a crazy combo. It's a crazy combo.
It is. But I think we keep having them. I think that's
important.
part
Yeah.
of it. We
That's
continue to talk about it because people don't know.
Yeah, that's an important thing. I want to pivot real quick. I don't know if I asked you down in the mix zone, but Michael Johnson's league. Curious on your thoughts on it. Is it something you'd be? It's the laugh is.
Please, you guys are hitting. This is hard hitting journalism.
Is it? I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I asked Michael after he made the team, and he kind of went off. Not that he went off,
off in a good way or a bad way?
It was a mixed way. He was
girl, I don't know what's going on.
It was a mix. I was so confused, and he was laughing, he was smiling, then he was huh?
He don't know what's going on, bro.
And I'm do you want to run? I don't know, but I mean, what do you think about the league?
I think it's cool. I'm intrigued. And like I said, I've kind of been in and out of social media for the last few weeks, so I haven't seen all the full details of it. But I'm interested to see how it plays out and how long lasting it is. If this will be a 1-year thing and we're going to kind of see what it looks like, or if this is going to be something that really takes the track world by storm. I think there's certainly potential. I am a little confused on some details. Justice for field events also, of course.
Talk about it.
But yeah, I feel like I need a mock-up. I need to see an example of what it would look like.
Okay, so wait, what's some of your questions? Because I might have some answers.
Okay, so I
don't know.
It's 48 athletes that are going to be signed under this Grand Slam.
Yeah.
Correct? Mm-hmm. And then there's going to be 48 challengers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So are these the 48 signed athletes, I'm assuming, are getting a base pay?
Yeah,
they have a contract or whatever.
A yearly compensation.
And so these challengers, what's my incentive? If I beat you, do I get your contract?
They get in. Well, I don't think you get to take nobody's contract, but I think you might be able to be added on.
You could maybe race into it or something.
Okay.
But you do get appearance fees.
Okay.
And the top 10 or the top 8 get paid. It's $100K for number 1, and all the way down.
And I think 10K gets. I mean, not
10K for number 8.
Yeah.
So all the way from 100 to 10.
I'm
so
intrigued.
you'll get 10K plus the appearance fee.
Okay. I mean, if you're paying and it's a nice hotel, you're putting me in, I'm running.
Wait, don't say she's going to get 10K. She's going to get 100K.
Yeah, what the heck?
No.
No, okay. I'm interested. Like I said, I would love to see how it plays out and what it all looks like for real.
Now
we can
for
talk, but let's see the action.
Now for you, because you're a 400 girl, you got two options. You could either do the 2-4 or the 4 and the 4 hurdles. So like, what would you dabble in? Because you gotta run too. So either you running the hurdles or you running that.
Have you ever
200.
done hurdles?
I hurdled. When you're in AAU, you're allowed to start hurdling when you're like 11.
AAU?
Wait. No. That's just my origin story. That's my origin story. So I started then, and I wasn't good. I was certainly jumping. I was just sprinting in between. But then I hurdled a little bit in high school, like at practice, because my coach's plan was, I think in Florida it's 300 hurdles unless they changed it. But like my plan was to double in the 4 and the 300 hurdles. So I would do hurdles at practice. I just never actually entered in the meet. So I know how to hurdle. And I've been begging Coach Hayes, I'm like, during the dead year, I'm like, let's get into these 400 hurdles. Like, let's get into these hurdles.
Hold on.
It's
But
like
really-
you and Quincy do like a switch, because Quincy was 400 hurdles and now you're
Quincy,
4,
yeah.
and now hold up.
Quincy,
Listen, but I want to do the 8. I would love to hop.
That
in
means
the
you
8.
got to do the 8 and the 15, girl.
I can't do that. I can't
I don't
do
know,
that.
man.
A lot of 400 runners.
So 100K not gonna make you jump
No,
on the
it
line,
won't.
Bookie?
It won't, unfortunately. It won't. But I think realistically I do the 2-4. Because I PR'd in the 2 before I PR'd in the 4. So I'll go try my luck in
Things
that.
were said. Things were
Hey,
said.
I was going to say, a lot of 400 runners don't ever say they want to touch the 8.
I do. I think
But
it's
like
just,
but you see it a lot in college though. Like, I mean, you take Juliet and Roisin, like both of them
That's
are on that
true.
4x4,
That's
and like
true.
they be sliding. So
yeah. I just feel like the 800 is the hardest event in track and field. I said it.
4
I said
hurdles.
it. I think the 800 is the
4
hardest.
hurdles.
It's a 2-lap sprint. At the way they
4
are running
hurdles.
it now, it's a 2-lap sprint, and I love a challenge. I'm not saying I would win or anything, but I think I'd be competitive, and I think it'd be fun to just dabble in it. Not like do it at trials, just like
it's too late now. You done wrote your name in the book.
Right.
no.
Actually, in the next couple days, you will be. We're actually gonna do a new heat just for you. That's it.
Solo time trial.
Well, all right, hypothetically, what can you run in the 800? If you were to run right now, you're in like peak 400 form.
Oh my
What could
gosh.
you run in the 800 right now?
Okay, I don't know how to pace. I need help.
No, like assume that you
Like-
assume that you're strategically smart.
Okay. Stop. Like. Stop. Don't make fun of me. Like.
Nobody laughed. You the one who got laughing first. Like, what are you talking about?
Like 203.
20.
Okay.
Wait.
Yeah.
For
Okay,
sure.
I feel-
For
For like
sure,
my
for sure.
first
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like you could go sub 2. Right now, I feel like you can go sub 2.
Like if you like we
Please.
said, like you assuming that like you have the race strategy.
Okay. Okay. Then like 201.
Okay. No, say it with your chest. Say it with your chest.
201.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Nice. So rest of the trials, you're gonna be chilling. Obviously, you're gonna be watching the rest of your teammates. But what are some other stuff you're gonna be keeping an eye out for? Are you watching like any other events? You got your eye out for anyone else?
I mean, of course, Rye. Cheering for him, rooting for
Very
him.
fast guy.
Yeah, Isaiah Jewett, of course, in the 800.
Other fast
And I'm just looking forward to seeing the women's 4 hurdles. I have someone in college, Jasmine Jones. She goes to SC, NCAA champ. So I'm rooting for her. I'm excited to see what she does. Excited to see how she elevates with like the pros and whatnot. So I think that's one of the events I'm most excited for.
Ooh, you think Jasmine could? I mean, she was close to 52 seconds. You think she could like hit another big PB?
I think so. I think she's someone who I see constantly elevates around like who she's competing with, and she's gonna have great competition this week. So, yeah, I think she's gonna rise to the challenge. I'm excited.
Nice. That should be good. Hey, well, Kendall Ellis, U.S.
This is
champion, Olympian. We're going. I mean, you got a gold last time. You got a bronze last time. I mean, you're probably looking to double that. Get like double gold, maybe triple gold. Who knows? But Kendall Ellis, you're here. Really appreciate you.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kendall. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. We'll be back, y'all.
Seems like you've been wasting time trying to find your place in life. You need to get your ducks all in a row. So take some time to understand. your ducks all in a row. So take some time to understand that life is a race. Ooh, for each and every man. Sometimes people will treat you like worn out shoes, but they don't know that you can't lose. Come and be a winner. Be a winner now. Now you're a winner. Oh, baby. Oh, come and be a winner. Seems like you've been wasting time trying to find your place in life. You need to get your ducks all in a row. So take some time to understand that life is a race. Ooh, for each and every man. Sometimes people will treat you like worn out shoes, but they don't know that you can't lose. Come and be a winner. Be a winner now. Now you're a winner. Oh, baby. Oh, come and be a winner.
All right, welcome back to CITIUS MAG live from Eugene. We are here with a very, very special guest, almost like family at this point, because we've been covering you for the last 2 years. You know, it's been really awesome to see just sort of this whole storybook just that you've put together over the last like 2 years, and it's been awesome. Quincy Wilson, everybody, the man who has just been lighting up social media. I mean, how has this all been, this whole entire trials experience?
It's been great. I mean, I've been loving the fans, loving the crowd. Coming to Eugene, you know, last year, a lot of people don't know, I went to U20s last year, and I ended up getting 4th. And I didn't run the best final, and they told me, they was just like, my coach said, in the same position, we'll be back next year, stronger and better. And I can say for sure, like, the people that were in that U20 race, all of them, I ran faster than the times all this year. And so that's the hard work that I put in. And it's just like in a year and just trusting the training, trusting my coach. And so I came back a year later, and I was way better than what I was.
3:44s.
Yes, sir.
No other high school kid has ever been able to do that, especially at a stage like this. Like, you made history out here.
Right.
It's so crazy.
It is crazy. I don't even know how I did it, you know? But like what I told myself, I kept running these 45 ones, like, and they were consistent. And when that happens, something's good is gonna come, because when I ran 46 indoor, I kept running 47.3. Like, you can, like, if you go look at it, 47.3 repeatedly, like every single week. I kept running 47.3. Went to nationals, ran 46.6. So it just, when you run that consistent time and you're doing that consistent things, I'm changing things in my race each time. It's either my start's getting better or my finish is getting better. And so that's how it was. This time, I just put them all together, and it was good. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I was going to say, because at New Balance Nationals afterwards, you slipped in. You were like, I could have ran 44 low. I could have done it. And you put it together here. You actually put it together throughout all the rounds. I mean, did anything change mentality-wise or just preparation-wise, or was it that getting that execution right?
Well, I can't say nothing changed from New Balance, because I didn't practice since New Balance. I had one day, got my hair cut, and that's it. I came out here and I was like, let's go. Like, I didn't do anything. That day where I came from New Balance to trials, I got a haircut, played the game, chilled, packed my bags to get ready to come to Eugene. So nothing new. But, you know, I just came out here, and like I said, I knew I had it in me. Like, I knew I had it in me. I just didn't know when it was come. And I feel like the competition was the reason why I was able to pull it out, right?
I feel like the pros are listening to this right now, saying this kid came up here playing video games, getting their haircut, and he finished ahead of us.
Right,
yeah.
That's all it took. when you slipped it by me and Caitlin last weekend in Philadelphia, and you're like, if I clean this up, this is a 44 low.
Right.
We didn't even catch that. You said that so quick. What were the things that you cleaned up? And I think like in the semifinal when they asked you, you said the same something very similar. You're like, if I clean up this race, I can run even faster. Now that the rounds are over, you didn't want to say it in the mix zone because you wanted to kind of keep your cards close to the chest before the final. But what are some of the things that you think you could have cleaned up out here?
Well, like I said, in the final race, I ran the slowest first 200 that I've ever ran all season. And you know, me as like a high school athlete, being like at the top rank, you're never put in those terrible lanes. Like you're not put in lane 2, you're not put in lane 1, you're not put in lane 9. So I'm always used to being in the middle. I'm in the middle lane, so I'm just like, what am I gonna do? And so that's why I think why I went wrong in practices. I'm always just like, I want to be in the top lane. Like everybody just like, no, I'll be in the bottom lane. But no, I used to always stay in the top lane. I never would move. And I feel like if I practice that, if I change where my lanes were next year, what I'm gonna do throughout the reps, I'm gonna change lanes. I'm gonna run in every lane so that I can be prepared for whatever comes my way, because I got thrown at adversity, and I had lane 2. I said, "What in the world?" Like I literally said, my mom, what is this? Like, and
well,
then
they set you up.
and they did. And then I looked at Quincy Hall's story. He said, "I'm in lane 8," so I was just like, now I can't really say anything because I'm back there.
Both of y'all got
yeah. So it's just like, well, you're the fastest qualifier, and you got lane 8, so. I'm the 4th qualifier, so I got lane 2, so I got to work. But some of the things I could have ran, the first 200, I had like one of the fasting closing last 100. So if I finish that, if I start off, and that's just speed mechanics I'm going to work on throughout the season next year. Probably instead of more longer reps, probably some shorter reps so I can get in there and get out the blocks with that, like that. Because, you know, they're deadlifting one leg, 300 pounds. You know me.
Who is doing that?
Oh, most definitely the pros. You know me. I'm over there with my 10-pound weight going. 10-pound weight.
I know you are.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Caleb?
I mean, the only reason I ain't really been asking you questions because I feel like you've been asked like every question under the sun in like the past like 5 days. Like every time I see you come to the mix zone, you and your coach be talking for like 25 minutes. I be like, dang. Like yesterday I was trying to talk to y'all, bro. Me and T waiting, y'all done like slid out the corner. I said, yo, Natalie, bring him back, okay? Because I don't really got. I'm gonna be telling him the same stuff I've been telling him all week, but like you literally been asked all the same questions. So like, what's something that somebody ain't asked you this week? Like, what do you? I don't know.
They didn't really ask me about my video games. I want to talk about my video
Okay,
games.
talk about
All right, so like what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna get on Twitch, and then when I get home,
Drop
I'm
the
gonna tell
Twitch
my
name
dad.
so that people know.
I haven't started one yet.
Okay.
That's the thing. I'm gonna start my Twitch, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually game. Because when I tell you I'm nice at the game, like any game y'all can see me, I'm nice at it. Yes. Like 2K, Madden, Call of Duty, Fortnite. Like I'm really nice at the game. Like y'all think I'm nice on track. I'm trying to tell you I'm nice at the game.
He about to get rich off of playing the game instead of running track. Shoot.
Exactly. So I want to do that so they can see something outside of track. Also, I want y'all to make sure y'all subscribe to my YouTube channel because I am gonna be doing more. I'm gonna be more consistent because now like the season's over and not as much training in school. Because you know, school, I wake up at 5, get home at 8. So I mean, it's real hard to do videos.
It's real hard, like he's slaving or something. Like, what are you talking about?
but so I'm gonna make sure that I get some YouTube videos going so they can watch and get this subscribers up.
You posted on your Instagram story, I think yesterday, like there was something you got from your school, like some sort of honors.
Oh yeah, high honor
He's
roll.
smart. He not stupid.
Yeah,
it's smart, Quincy.
Yeah, it is. You know, I average a average and throughout all my life, like I've A average, and you know when I come to the classroom, it's all books. Like they call me the nerd. They call me the nerd in the class. If the teacher didn't know I ran track, like they would be like, yeah, I'll be looking at the books. I'll be like, what I gotta do? Yeah, I go home and be like. Yeah, 100%. People know when I'm not. That's the only time I'm not on a game or at practice. I'm doing my work.
You doing your homework.
Yeah.
Man, you is a nerd.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's like, what don't you do? You're A student, video games, one of the best in the world at this point. Like,
I mean.
Do you cook or anything?
Nah, that's one thing that I need to work on. I mean, I can cook a little.
What can you cook?
Grilled cheese.
Listen, I do know how to cook, so when I come back home this summer,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna find Coach. We gonna make sure you learn how to cook.
Of
Okay?
course,
'Cause
of
you can't
course.
be out here trying to know how to cook for yourself, boy.
You're out here also here at the CITIUS MAG New Balance set right above Prince Puckler's. Like you talked about in the mix zone yesterday. You're like, I haven't had an ice cream in months because I'm just training. I was like, I know a place. So we made it out to Prince Puckler's. You loaded up. I said, you can get whatever you want. You got 3 scoops. What'd you go with?
I got 3 scoops of cookies and cream ice cream. I'm halfway done. I had 3 minutes to eat it. And so look, that's how you know I've been craving it. And I tried to get some M&Ms and some actual Oreos inside of my shake, but they said they couldn't do it. But I was trying to get everything. I was trying to load it up. I did want a McFlurry. Times 2 size.
Yeah, Quincy is unhinged right now.
It said Sugar Rush.
3 minutes of just like come on.
All right, Quincy. Yesterday morning, I want you to take us through the day. I asked you in the mix zone, but I guess for the people watching who maybe haven't caught the interview,
Right.
like after the semifinal, you're like, this is going to be like the biggest day of my life so far.
Right.
How do you wake up that morning feeling, and then you told me that the last thing that you did with your family beforehand was like you all got together and you prayed. But from the morning, take me through what it was like in your shoes the moment you woke up, and how that the whole day unfolded before you got to the track.
So I think I woke up around 5 a.m., looked at the clock, told myself I need to go back to sleep. and so I went back to sleep till like 9 o'clock because the timing is different. So back
We're still
in
on East
Maryland,
Coast
it would
time.
be like 8 o'clock. So I would probably wake up like that time and go eat breakfast, something like that. So I woke up around 9 o'clock here, which is like 12 at home, and I got some breakfast. And I started eating, and then I went back into my room, but everybody was still asleep. And so I went in the room and started blasting music like I'm in a hotel. But then my parents were like, yo, turn that down. Like, turn it down. And so I turned the music down, and I was like, all right, I just put in my headphones. So they kept calling my name, but I had my headphones on. So they were just like, they came in my room, they was like, take the headphones off now.
What happened in the
because I wasn't answering them. They kept calling me, right? But
that happened in the call room too, in the semifinal.
Yeah, that happened. They told me to take my headphones off because I was listening to the music. But next thing you know, I started locking into the film. Like I rewatched all the different races. I was watching Michael Norman run 43. I was watching all different types of races from like the past and things like that, things that I ran and just all the different races that I ran. And so I can get focused in on locked in on what I do. And so then around 2 o'clock, me and my dad went to go pick up Coach Lee, and we went out to the track. We went out and got a flush for like an hour. Coach Lee, he has messed up hips, so he had to get on. He had to get on the table his own self.
Why are you talking about him like he's holding something?
No, he got the worst hip man you ever seen. So he was on the table too, but I was on the table getting a massage. And then we got off, and we actually focused into the race and locked in on what we had to do. We were talking about different things. So I'd never been in lane 2. Like it was really different. But we focused in on everything that I could have done to prepare myself. And so that's the one thing that I do love. Like my coach, he wasn't getting caught up in the moment either. Like he's been 100% focused on me, on what I can do. And that's a great thing that I can say. Like high school coaches, they tend you're in there with the best athletes and the best coaches. How do you do this? And so Coach Joe Lee, he just kept me on a level mind to just go out there and run your race. Like you're just as good. Like you've done so many things. So just keep focusing. And that's what I was doing. I was just focused on the race, on what I could have done. But when I came out lane 2, I was just like, we only got one chance. This is the last final. This could be your last open 400 of the season. So that's what I did. I just gave it everything I had. Like that last 100, I really did give it everything I had.
I mean, it was crazy. Like I'm gonna be honest. There was a second in the first 200 where I was like, yo, Quincy's out of it.
Yes,
I was like,
yeah.
you're out of it, but you found a
you
way.
and Justin was running together. I said, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, because I know you be making fun of the old heads. But when I was watching, I'm like, damn, they really rolling
They
up
were.
on that little boy right
They
there.
were rolling.
Boy, Bryce was going crazy. Quincy was going crazy. I'm like, Quincy and Justin, if y'all don't get it together, y'all gonna be at home.
Yeah, man. I was looking at him. I'm looking at him like, God. But I got Matthew above me, so I got Bullen above me, and he's a 200 runner. I swear the gap was all the
He
way.
went crazy.
Yeah,
He
no,
went
he
crazy.
wanted to go to Paris.
Yes, and so but I told myself I got to stay composed because I'm not gonna lie, I was studying his races too, and I was looking at his last 100 and comparing it to mine and breaking it down of where he gets tired and where I can gain momentum on how I can get these places. So I told myself, just keep doing what you're doing, just stay right there, just keep getting them one by one. Even though I was in lane 2, I just told myself, just get them one by one. Like if it was like an extra 5, if it was like 500, I promise you, I think I would have done something. Like if it was a 500, yeah, cause I was still gaining my momentum.
So we just gonna go ahead and put you in the 800 then. Since
I said 500. I said 500.
And I said
8. And nah. 800. That's a little. Nah.
What do you say to, I guess, to the people who want to see you now, just kind of like across these other distances? Like you've shown what you could do in the 400. It's something that you've been just sort of like so focused on, but like. What's Quincy Wilson got in the 200? What's he got in the, I guess, to your point, we only saw one 800 this season. It was impressive.
Right. I got something next year for y'all. I'm telling y'all. I'm not going to say anything.
110 hurdles. Let's go.
1,500 meters.
Me and my coach are going to start working on it and working on the different things to get prepared for this. But, yeah, I got something next season.
I think it's the 100.
You might be doing it.
I think it's 100.
You're going to have to gain a little bit of muscle. I'm not going to lie to you, man.
You see how I said.
You got to get to 20 pounds at least. Like
y'all going to see the event. You going to see the event.
Do hurdles?
You got to see the event.
All right. Have you seen this yet? Coach Lee talking about you after the race?
Nah, I didn't.
All right. I think we got to show you what he had to say.
Yeah.
Do you have it?
Yeah. Oh, wait. Hold on. Let me make sure the sound is on.
The muted, yeah.
It's right at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
I know that he wanted it. Everything I had to go through. I'm happy too. They're not just sad. I mean, they're happy too because he's making history, right? Gosh, I wish this was lucky. He's got the pressure of the world. I mean, I don't know anybody. I don't know any kid that's 16 years old or 17 years old or 26 years old or whatever that can handle the pressure that he's like. We'll be back. I mean, I usually just say there's no crying, but then luck at me. Now I'm doing the Michael Jordan meme. But I mean, I'm happy for him. I mean, again, if you knew the pressure and the weight of what he's had to endure, and the thing with a smile on his face, I'm like, I got to give credit to his parents in raising just such an amazing kid. Like, if you know the kid, I mean, we know the athlete who you guys were talking about, the kid, but I know him now. I mean, we talk every single day, multiple times a day, and some stuff that he's even had to endure that he doesn't deserve. I mean, the hate, people saying things that are just like negative. Like, why? I mean, show me something that you can see wrong with this kid. I mean, I don't know, but obviously you don't want to pay attention to that. But he's 16, so my emotion, I haven't really had a chance to process because we've just been in the grind. Going from. He was sick a month ago, literally hospitalized, sick. Lost a full week of training, didn't know if our season was over. Battle from that to run 44:59, are you crazy? And then, to still be in it, he ran 3:44s. Not many people did that. Even, some of the winners didn't have to run 3. I mean, shout out to Michael Norman, he did a great job. He came in second, but, he got a chance to, ease it through. He ran 2:45s. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying the resilience of a teenager. I hope the world is watching what character looks like and what resilience in the face of adversity. But at the same time, I think it's a great story that we all can smile about, and we got the movie. Still go for the.
Quincy, that's love.
It is.
What's that like? I guess to hear from your coach, just sort of he was with you every single step of the way this year.
He knows a lot that I've been through, It was a hard season for me. Coming from in the beginning of the season, first meet, people don't know, I was in a warm-up area, warming up, and I tweaked my hamstring right before I'm about to go out. It's the last build-up, and my hamstring literally balls up in the one I can't walk, and I get carted off, and I get good into the trainer. You know, I told myself, they told me it was going to be a 6-week injury, 8-week injury, and I won't be back. I told me and my mom said it's all mental, Quincy, and I came back, and I came back the next week and ran a 101 and a 500. I just mentally strong, and just being mentally strong and being able to just tell yourself that, like, regardless of what you come through, just keep doing it, because a lot of track is just mental, and if you keep your mental straight, that's one of the biggest things that I can say. And, you know, like I said, I was in the hospital May 6th. I was in the hospital, like I couldn't stop throwing up. Like, I was in the hospital, and I wasn't able to come out of my room for a whole week. Like, I didn't go to school for a whole week or two, and I came back, and I came back after that race, and I was able to run. And it's just like, I don't even know. Like, I was coming out there, and like my practices, I was out there running like the slowest times I've ever ran. And I just keep telling myself, like, just keep working, like, you're gonna be there soon. And I kept on working on it, and I kept on doing it, and it really paid off. Because, you know, it really is hard when you go through something and, you know, you're not at your top where you want to be. And the time that I got sick, I was at the top of my, like, training. I was on the best I've ever been on training, you know. So I'm telling myself, just get back on to where you're going. And so it took me a long time to get back to my 45-13, which I ran at New Balance. And when I ran that at New Balance, like, it was everything to me. And then I told myself, you have nothing to lose. Like, it's no pressure to come out here and just do your best. Like, just make yourself happy. And that's one of the things that I learned throughout the season. Just make yourself happy. Everybody, and regardless of what you say, people on the internet are going to have something to say. Regardless if you're winning, regardless if you're losing. They're going to talk bad about you if you're losing. They're going to say you're sorry, you're not good enough. Or if you're at the top, you're going to peak, you're going to fall off. When is this injury going to happen? Like, they're going to talk about something negative regardless. And it's the way how you're going to keep yourself level-minded on how can I get better? What can I use this as, and how can I use it as motivation? Because if they are talking about you, you are doing something good. You don't see somebody that's on the streets. What are they? They're not really saying too much about them because they don't see their potential. But when someone's at the top, there's a lot that people just want to knock that person down. And that's one of the things that it's just like, it's sorry to say about this sport, but that's one of the things that you just need to bring up. Like, you can be, if you keep mentally strong, you can do anything you want to do. And that's what I have to say about any of the younger kids coming out here. You know, I'm 16. I wasn't just representing myself, my family, the last name that I got. I was representing any person that thinks that they can't do it. No matter if you put your mind to put that goal, like, I put my mind to the goal that I want to be at the Olympic trials. And my goal was just to be at the Olympic trials. I didn't expect me to go out this far, but I knew, like, I put my body through weathers and waters that I've never been through, and that's why I was there. And that's why I was to run 344s. Like, 344s in 4 days, that's nothing but hard work and dedication, because I promise you can ask anybody, any of my teammates, any of my old coaches, former coaches, everything that I do is off my hard work. Like, there's not one day that I will regret I didn't go all out in that practice.
Preach, Quincy. That was incredible.
Powerful.
So I guess now the people are probably out there wondering, just sort of like, all right, 6th. We do some math, just sort of like, where does that leave you sort of in the relay pool? You did do team processing today, but that's not indicative of anything being official, right?
Yes,
what
sir.
is, USATF told you, and, like, I guess, like, what can people, you put it up on your Instagram story really quick. I guess we're in a wait and see until, what is it, June 30th?
June 30th. I mean, it's 5 days to wait. But, I mean, the only thing you can do is just pray on it. And regardless of the outcomes, like, you're going out with a win. Like, you're going out with a win regardless. You broke two world records that just no one has ever ran 44.5.
At 16.
At 16. Like, it's not like,
There's actually a couple of guys that have
at
ran
16,
44.
17, or 18. Like, 44,
Yeah.
like, it's just, that's why it's just kind of weird to me. So I'm just like, regardless if I am able to make the team or if I'm not. But if I am make the team, the USA, I would say they're in a good hands, because when I go out there, I'm gonna give everything that I got to make sure that the USA is on with the gold medal on their neck, because I'm gonna work for it. Like, I'm gonna go out there, my team, regardless of what place we're in. I know our worth, and I know this is the hardest team to make, and just to end up to get 6, and even if I do make the relay pool, I'm gonna go out there with everybody and like my dogs, like they're like my older brothers now, because we're USA together now, because there's no meets left, so they're my older brothers now, so I'm going to war with them if I'm able to make the team.
All right, I want you to look into that camera.
Right.
And this is addressing Team USA and the relay coach. Make your case. Why should they pick you? Because you got the chat won over. Everyone's here in the chat saying it's like, just go ahead and put him in the relay pool. They said, you can't hate Quincy. Someone has said, great balance of joy, confidence, and maturity in Quincy. Still having a ton of fun, but betting on himself and working hard. I swear to God, this is the greatest 16-year-old there is. Quincy has such a refreshing personality. He definitely deserves being on a relay team. Someone's, I just kept praying for him, and I'm still praying for him. So now look into that camera. Tell the relay coaches why they should pick Quincy Wilson.
The reason I think I should put Quincy Wilson on the team is because throughout the sport, you're just going out there. You're not just going out there to represent the USA. You're going to represent you're representing everybody out here. Like, you're going to represent your brothers, your sisters, but not just that. You're representing the whole United States. And to be able, I think you should be able to put a person that has joy, that brings joy to the team, because we're not just going to be running. Like they said, there's going to be pressure. There's going to be other people that are just as good as us. But if you have chemistry, if you're able to bond with them, if you're able to have good vibes with each and one of those people, and I have a great bond with the Quincy Hall, Michael Norman, Vernon Norwood, Bryce Deming. Like, I've been trying to talk to them to introduce myself, because I am coming up and I'm going to be running more races with them, and I want to be able to have a bond with them so that when we go out there and we're battling for that first or second place, I'm gonna run harder if it's from my brother or if it's from somebody else. So when I go out there, they're gonna be like, I don't want to let this person down. If you're running for what you gotta do and your why, you're gonna run harder, and that's what can bring us to a victory and get us a gold medal on our neck.
There we go.
Put
After
this
that,
man on the team.
they gotta put this man on the team.
Like, what?
Yeah. Someone else in the chat was like, hey, do you want to double check and make sure he's not Jamaican? So I was like, no, he's ours. He's ours. One thing was, like, I was thinking about just sort of like, the first time I met you, New Balance Indoor Nationals 2023, I think it was.
Yes, sir.
And like, Caitlin from New Balance brought you over and was like, you got to interview this kid. And like, you just lit up in front of the cameras.
Right.
And then from there, sort of the next day, we see just you throw down a record-breaking performance. And so on behalf of the CITIUS MAG team, like, it's just been such a joy for us to be part of this whole entire ride. And just like, I remember Quincy Wilson when we had 2,000 followers. Now what are we at? We're at, let's refresh this thing, 103,000 followers. You're about to pass CITIUS MAG in number of followers. I hope you still accept our collab tags after this.
Of course. I mean, it's been a great because before I even was out there and ran 46, like, they made sure that they get an interview with me. And a lot of people, they were saying, why would we interview a freshman before he's about to go race the best high schools in the nation? But when you can see something great in somebody and a company that just want to get out and reach out with the youngest person, maybe he does have a shot, man. You can always do that, and that's what they did. And I collabed with him before I even ran the 46, so
That's right.
I just want to say, like, thank you for y'all. Thank you.
No, we're here. We are huge Quincy Wilson fans for forever. Heard it here. Quincy, I appreciate you stopping by on behalf of the whole team. Like, we could not be more excited for you, and it's gonna be weird when we have to go back to New Balance Indoor Nationals, and it's like we were at the trials.
right.
You might be an Olympic gold medalist at that
I know,
point.
right? Honestly, you have the cool. It's already been like 2 weeks of summer vacation. You already have like the coolest, like, oh, what did you do this summer?
Yeah,
essay.
like go into the school, they'd be like, what'd you do this summer? I was 6th at the Olympic trials. I was like, which one is false? I wear a size 9.5 shoe. I was a 6th.
2 truths and a lie. I love it. All right, Quincy. Well, let's go get you some more ice cream now.
Of
It's
course.
like, at this point, just celebrate every moment. But thanks for joining us.
Of course.
Quincy Wilson, everybody. We've got Clayton Young coming up shortly, I believe. He's downstairs, so we'll get him up shortly, but we'll be right back.
Seems like you've been wasting time trying to find your place in life. You need to get your ducks all in a row. So take some time to understand that life is a race. Ooh, for each and every man. Sometimes people will treat you like worn out shoes, but they don't know that you can't lose. Come and be a winner. Be a winner now. Now you're a winner. Oh, baby. Oh, come and be a winner. Seems like you've been wasting time trying to find your place in life. You need to get your ducks all in a row. So take some time to understand that life is a race. Ooh, for each and every man. Sometimes people
CITIUS MAG live from Eugene, day 5, I believe it is. I'm losing track.
Day 5, I think.
And we are joined now by U.S. Olympic Marathon Trials runner-up Clayton Young, getting ready for the Paris Olympic Marathon. Me too. The all-comers one, but our race day is the same. How are things going for you?
Good. Excited to see you in Paris, man. You are going to be, what is it, at the Olympics?
Yeah,
You're
so
racing in the Olympics.
You're racing in the Olympics. I'm racing at the Olympics.
That's
yeah.
what it is.
Yep. But overall, the preparations, how are they going?
Good. Yeah, I feel like, we just hit the halfway mark. I feel like I'm in a good spot. I'm healthy. I'm motivated. So 7 more weeks to kind of lock it down and have some fun and see what we can do.
Yeah. Your best friend's here too.
I was going to say, you're number 2 fan behind your wife. Let's kind of talk us through your training a little bit since we last saw you at the trials. How's everything been going?
Yeah, training, I think it started off the beginning of this build with a little bit of a shock. Like Connor and I worked through some niggles the first, after the Olympic trials. I think we just got slammed with media and recovery wasn't always there. And so we both were working through some niggles. And so when we got back to training, I expected us to kind of be on the same playing field. Mm-hmm. And I shouldn't have thought that for a second, because Connor just absolutely worked me the first couple weeks of training, to be honest. But I felt like I, embraced the right mindset and just took it a day at a time and let the fitness come. And it's coming. Like, it's been really exciting just to kind of have these key workouts that we've been nailing and getting faster and faster. And that's been good.
Yeah, and I guess both of you had hiccups along the way too, where it was when I saw you in New York, it was very soon after sort of the marathon trials that it wasn't that you rushed back or anything like that, but it was just sort of, that was a tough race, just kind of given the circumstances at the time. And I think that was just the beginning of Connor's, sort of injury stint. And now he's fully back at it, pushing the pace here at the 10K. But I guess that just kind of goes to show that it's post marathon trials, you're riding this high and you want to keep that momentum going. And sometimes the marathon says, all right, let's slow down a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, no, thank you. Or I don't know. I had these big dreams of kind of getting in a track season a little bit and maybe working on my speed before this marathon build. But yeah, that was all taken away. And I just, had to take a break for a little bit. And in the grand scheme of things, it was probably just what I needed to just kind of be a little bit more fresh and more motivated and to appreciate health going into this build. I think people underappreciate, when you take something away, just how much more of a passion you have for it when it's added back in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, health is the name of the game in the marathon, especially on a course like this.
We were talking a little bit before we started rolling. You're coming off of the Boston BAA 10K.
That's right, yeah.
How did you feel the race again? Were you excited to kind of get back out there? You're talking about overcoming a little bit of injuries after the trial, but you ran well.
Yeah.
28:30.
Yeah, 28:31 for 10K. I didn't really know what to expect because you're in the middle of marathon training and you feel like I was really excited for it because before I hit the Olympic standard in Chicago, I raced a lot. I raced Boulder, 8K champs, 10K champs, 20K champs. And I felt like I got really fit and I had a lot of fun that build doing training. But then when I went into the Olympic trials marathon build, I didn't race at all. And so it's kind of interesting that I was able to kind of approach the same results in 2 different ways. And this one, I guess we're kind of doing a hybrid. And I was kind of feeling like it was time for a break. Like I needed a down week to kind of soak in fitness and I don't know, to have some fun, to, I don't know, feel motivated again. And so we chose Boston and it was interesting because it was supposed to be really hot and humid and it ended up being an absolute downpour on the starting line. But I think we handled it well, and I think, I don't know, it was an international field. It's hard because only some of the guys are in marathon training, some are not, and you're just trying to hang on for dear life. I wanted to kind of embrace my inner Drew Hunter and not give an inch, right? That was kind of my mantra going in, but I gave him an inch, and Alex Masai and I paid for it, and we tried to close that gap, and we couldn't. So the front pack left us, and and we tried to fight back, and we caught a couple of them, but not quite enough. Finished 9th.
How are you sort of like, you got also the chance to do, what was it? Was it another 10K out in Paris, or was it a 5K?
Yeah, it was a 10K.
10K. And then shortly after that, got to see the course.
Yeah.
What am I in for?
Oh, man. Well, first of all, that whole trip was so awesome because ASICS knew that I'd never flown international, and they were having this awesome promo event, and so like, hey, come out to Paris. We know that you're not in great shape, but like, come run this 10K, experience jet lag, like, feel what it's like to just like not get any sleep, and then run
Sounds
this race.
like me.
Like, it
Yeah.
sounds like perfect prep, and you know, they treated me so well out there, and so. The race was really cool. It was at night. It was right by the Louvre. There was some really cool lights, and it was a big party scene. But then, yeah, the next 5 days, essentially, I ran the course every single day. And I was out there with Cam Levins a little bit as well, and I focused mostly on those middle miles. It's essentially 10K flat. You climb all the way up and crest this hill down into Versailles, and then you loop back. You kind of drop a little bit, and then is the real hill. Which
18, right?
Yeah, going up to mile 18, a mile climb, and then I think what's the hardest part is the 2.5 miles after that, where you lose all of the elevation, and if you don't have legs for that last 10K, you're
screwed. You're screwed, Chris.
You're gonna be flying by the Eiffel Tower, wishing that you could run straight instead of take the right around the loop to the finish line. But
Connor set the over-under on me finishing 80 minutes after
what
him.
was it, 80 minutes?
That's not going to happen for me. I think he should have given me 2 full hours.
2 full. Another. You needed.
Wait, what do you think I can
No,
run?
no.
I'm not,
I don't
my
think-
PR's
I don't think that's
my PR's
right.
No, wait.
I thought it was 90 minutes.
90 minutes. No, because I said
You
I
said
wanted to
you-
run
2:10,
3:30.
Yeah, and Connor said, I don't think I'm gonna run 2 flat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
yeah.
There's
So,
one guy that could. I don't know.
all right. So what was the over/under?
I think Connor gave you 80 minutes.
80 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
80
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
So
What do
you're
you think?
talking like a 3:30. Yeah, 3:30, 3:40.
That's gonna be tough for me.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That's
this
With
race-
how the group run went this morning, you might need to do a second run today, hit some hills.
Yeah, I got a loop for you. I
Yeah.
did it this morning, and it was actually, I was like, wow, this is actually pretty hilly.
Is that the weird part about training for this race? Is that you're just constantly looking for hills?
Yeah, but what's really nice is I always used to try to find the flattest. I don't know, like I'd go on any run, and if there was a little hill, I'd like turn around and find another route. And now it's like I approach any hill, and I'm like, this hill's actually not that bad at all. Like every hill compared to the hill is like nothing. Like you just feel like you're like, oh yeah, this is fine. Like I can do this. But I will say, like a lot of my workouts, the first couple of hill workouts that we have done, like I've been worked, like absolutely destroyed by Connor. And so I've kind of started to embrace this mentality of like, I love hills. And I'm just going to convince myself like that I love hills, even though it's not a reality yet, but it's getting better.
Well, you've run hilly courses before. Atlanta was hilly.
Was way
how
hilly.
does what you saw of the course out in Paris? How does that compare to hilly courses that you've already done?
Yeah, I mean, Atlanta was really the only hilly course I've done, but it was like hilly the whole time, right?
Mm-hmm.
The weird thing about Paris is that it's only in those middle miles, like essentially from, I don't know, 10K to 34K is where the hills are. And so it's a lot more condensed, so it's just steep. It's so steep. Like Atlanta had some steep parts, but it was mainly rolling. But man, Paris, it's going to beat up the legs.
I heard it's going to be hard for people to stay on their feet, like at some point.
Yeah, people might want to roll down the hill, like
That'll
get
be
some
me.
Heelys. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll pop out a fresh pair of Heelys at the top of mile 18 and let you roll.
New shoe innovation.
Yeah, World Athletics approved that.
Yeah.
The shoes.
Yeah.
One other thing, I guess we paid a visit to Fiona O'Keefe out in Park City while she was
Nice.
training, and she was telling me something. I don't think we recorded, but it was just sort of like off camera, a bit about how you have to also kind of, and you were like the fueling expert before the marathon trials.
Yeah.
Fueling for a race this crazy is like also a little bit, right? Like there's something about how like what you're taking is going to sit with you while you're going downhill or
I can
running
see
uphill.
that.
Like, have you experimented or anything like that?
I haven't experimented. That's a good point. I should put it on my radar.
Yeah. There we go.
But like, I will say this: in Atlanta, they had an aid station like right before a big climb, and every time I'd get my bottle, and I'd just be like sucking wind uphill and my bottle, and it was the worst, to be honest. So whether you're going uphill or downhill, like I guess you'd rather want it uphill. I don't know. Part of me is like I want it on the downhill so I could at least like breathe and take it down. But I think Fiona might be onto something.
How are the tables gonna stay upright on? Is it that steep that the bottles will be rolling down?
That's a good point. Especially when you toss your bottle. Like, am I gonna be passed by my like steel canister rolling down the hill?
You're doing those again?
Yeah. The Olympic marathon is different.
Okay.
Like for the listeners, those that don't know, like instead of you grabbing your own bottle, you have 2 people at each aid station assigned to the United States table.
That's right.
That can hand you your bottle or ice hat. They can pull it out of a nice fresh cooler, so I don't have to shove it in a canister. And
It's gonna be Ed for you.
It's 2.
what says that?
It's gonna be Coach for you.
I think they will, because it's a looped course. Like, there's no way they're gonna have to put 2 people, all different people throughout the entire course.
So it's 2 people per country.
2 people per country.
So
per
what if all 3 Americans are together?
You're juggling.
Yeah,
It should be. I feel like it should be to make it easy and just do 3 per country.
This is a scenario that like I've played through. I almost would rather my like them set it on the table so I can have something consistent to practice, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna have the relay team doing baton practice before their events, and we're gonna be doing bottle practice with I don't know whoever's handing me.
Yeah.
my
Now you got to
bottles.
rely on this person
Yes.
to do a clean handoff.
Yes. Yeah. Like it's definitely, especially if you're gonna throw in a hat and some ice. Like
Yeah.
And you hear about previous trials. Like I remember hearing about how Meb Keflezighi was handed Ryan Hall's bottle.
Oh no.
And they weren't taking the same fluids, and so you have Meb like, okay, should I take this bottle or not? And he ends up taking the bottle, but then it makes him nauseous. And anyway, so it's I like the table method. Like
Yeah, because you and Connor take different things, right?
it's the same drink. I do like to add a little bit of ketones to those early bottles, just in case I'm bonking really hard at the end. And my last couple marathons, I haven't been bonking, so it's been working.
Training for this one, is it just different when it comes to like the workouts and like the benchmarks in training, where you're just sort of like for a flat marathon race, like you're just constantly probably running flat workouts, and you can get a better gauge of like, oh, this is going to translate to X time. For this race, it's not necessarily that you're training for, I need to be in like 205 shape for this, but it's like I just need to be strong to run a very solid and hard 210, right?
Yeah, I think it's gonna favor the runners that have the ability to kind of reset their mind frequently. Because honestly, like we were doing a long run the other day, we did a pickup at the end of it, and we went downhill on the way out and uphill on the way back. And on the way back, like we had no idea what paces we were going to be running. And so it's going to favor those that can channel the effort consistently over the entire marathon. But that can be really difficult with like, I have this A-type personality and I want to see that time, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm like 5:30 pace up this hill. Like I'm slowing down. Like, am I fading? And that's going to be really tricky to navigate, I think. Is making sure that we're running marathon effort and not marathon pace. That's, my last 3 marathons, Chicago trials, it was like dial in, like 4:48s, let's do this. But yeah, I think we're going to have to practice. It's also championship style racing, right?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like what happens if I'm running next to a guy that's never seen the course before and he's booking it up this hill and he doesn't know that, well, that hill is 3 times longer than he thinks, right? And you're going to have to really learn how to run your own race and your own effort. And that's something I don't know quite how to practice, but we're working on it.
Do you have an idea at how this race is going to go out? Do you think that it's going to go out really hard? Do you think that there are going to be guys that try and make the move on the hill and hammer the downhill? Like, how in your mind have you been preparing for that?
Yeah, so with the first 10K being flat, part of me is like, but with the daunting hill ahead, I'm hoping, and also it's supposed to be hot and humid, right? I hope it scares the crap out of everybody and it makes everybody run slow, that first 10K.
Yeah.
But I don't know, you also have, who was it that just won Boston? Lila?
Yeah, the Lisa.
Not
No.
Lisa. Lima.
Oh, Cisse Lima.
Cisse Lima. Like, he just took it out and he said, screw it. Like, I'm just going to go and send it. And I feel like we're going to have a couple guys like that. And is that going to carry the pack? I don't know. But I think ultimately, I don't know. You got to be prepared for anything. And there's a very big difference between running for a medal and running for top 10 and running for top 20. Like, and that could be my A goal, B goal, C goal. But I really won't commit until the day of the race or leading up to the race.
Yeah. How worried are you about Kipchoge? Because, like, and this is not to get a soundbite out of you to be like, I'm not worried about Kipchoge. Headline everywhere. Clayton Young not worried about Kipchoge at the Olympics. But I also do think that, like, someone like him, this course does not favor him whatsoever. And, Bekele's another one who it's like, he's got the cross-country prowess from, like, maybe a decade ago, and I don't know how much that's kind of carried over. But these A-list names, this course just kind of throws the biggest, wild card factor in for them that, I do look to guys like Cam Levins as like heavy medal favorites for this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, obviously mad respects for Elliot, like, and what he has done and what he will do. Like, I still believe in him, man. But like you're right. Like, he's kind of made for Boston. Or not Boston, he's kind of made for Berlin. And when he did run Boston, he kind of suffered.
I think it's
Tokyo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it takes a certain athlete to be able to run in non-ideal conditions and on hills. And I even remember being out there in April at the ASICS event and just being, literally being in a van, driving up these hills, touring the course and grabbing my wife's hand and being like, we wanted this. Like, this is good for us. Like, this is what we were hoping for, because I think it really will favor those that prepare and those that can run in adverse conditions. And I don't know, like, the worse conditions, the better for me and Connor, to be honest.
Yeah. How much of this build-up now, I think at this point that you and Connor are both fully back and healthy, feels like, all right, we're back to doing sort of like the Orlando build-up together. And, it's been really cool to follow it along with the YouTube series you've got going.
Yeah. I feel like it's finally been clicking the last week or two. There was a workout a week or two ago that, I nailed some times in our fatigued mile repeat session that was just like, all right, I'm like, the fitness has come and I can work from here. And it was almost the point, there was like, it's this constant mind game, because you're both thinking, okay, I need to be fitter than I was at the trials or Chicago. Like, you want to be a better athlete, you want to progress, but also you don't want to peak too early and you don't want to burn out and you don't want to get injured. Like, people tell you that all the time preparing for the Olympics, like, do it, whatever you do, just don't change anything, right? But at the same time, like, you want to be a better athlete than you were before. And I hit this workout last week and I was like, okay, like, this is kind of the tipping point. Like, do I embrace this and push forward, or do I just like cruise, kind of, if that makes sense? And so that's the kind of mindset that I'm trying to work through right now. But
so you haven't chosen?
I haven't. I think after the race, honestly, in Boston, I came away from that race being like, 28:30 is no slouch. Like, that was a great day, but 9th place sucks. Like, I like, especially against an international field. And yes, I got to take it with a grain of salt, because a 10K is very different than a marathon. I feel like in a 10K, you are not rewarded for patience and running smart. It's almost like you have to send it no matter what. You have to, you can't give them inch. You have to close the freaking door. Like, you have to get on it. But in a marathon, you're rewarded, especially in Paris, for being patient and being smart in a race. So I have to be careful. I have to put an asterisk by Boston, but it really motivated me to be like, I can do better. Like, I can be better. And I'm excited to see how these next 6 weeks go. And yeah, follow along in the docuseries, because I think it's really going to paint a picture of what we can do. It's been really fun to tell that story and that journey. It's been special to share that. I will say it hasn't been easy. Like, it's been a lot of work, both for Andrew, who's shooting the docuseries, and for me to be kind of vulnerable and to kind of let the world into my life. But I think it's something that I'm going to look back on and be really proud of. And I hope it motivates and inspires others.
I love the turnaround on the episodes. Like, you do feel like it's like, oh, that just happened.
Yeah,
and it's already sort of on camera. And it's sort of like the transparency, too, of just you started doing this, it was like, all right, let's quit after 2 episodes. Like, no, we're seeing this through all the way to the very end.
Yeah, we shot the first couple episodes, and I just realized really early on that like I have to be 100% real and raw in these episodes and in these shoots, or it's not gonna last. Like it's because it would be so draining to not like to put on a front, right? And it's also kind of who I am. Like I appreciate authenticity, and so that's what I'm trying to do. And that means that there will be bad days, and there will be emotions, but like that's okay. Like it's well worth it to have, and it also helps me process every week by week. Like this is the key points and the lessons from this week, and this is what I learned. And I think it might even be motivating to go back as I approach the Olympics and watch some of these episodes and be like, this is how far I've come. That's something I love to do before every race, is look back at the good workouts, the good races, the good training that I've done to give me the confidence that I need for what's ahead.
Mm-hmm.
The marathon trials were in December, right?
No, February.
February. Yeah. And you did, and now does it give you a little bit of boost of excitement and motivation being here in Eugene? You've got the Hayward Field in the background right here. You did the team processing.
Yeah, put on the kit.
You put on the kit. Like, how's that feel? Does it feel like, this big race is right around the corner and give you a little bit of boost of motivation these last few weeks?
Yeah, this was a lot more exciting to be here than I expected. Like, with the way that travel worked out, we were maybe not going to be able to attend any track races, but we got in, and I had our driver book us straight to the track. We threw our bags in some car and went and made it just in time for the 1500. And I haven't been to the stadium. I haven't been to New Hayward. The last time I was here was in 2018. Mm-hmm. And so like to walk in, see the new stadium, see the 1500, and I'm like, I'm geeking out, man. Yeah. I'm a big track fan. Like, I love it. Yeah. And that was super exciting. And in fact, I've been watching it on TV, right, the last couple days. And we've been on the East Coast, and man, I have so much more respect for those East Coast fans, because I'm like, I've got a race, but man, like the 100 meters is about to go off, and I want to watch it, but I need to go to bed and get to sleep. And it's been really fun to watch a lot of those races. But the coolest thing, I will say this, like I've been watching all these athletes sign the Eiffel Tower.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's a fun feature.
Guess what I did?
You signed the Eiffel Tower.
After the event, I went and I was like, hey, can I sign the Eiffel Tower? And they were like, wait, who are you? And I was like, and my wife was like, he took second at the marathon trials. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh.
You were too humble. You were trying to like, yeah.
Well, I didn't want to be like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
I'm gonna try it. Can I sign the Eiffel Tower? Yeah. I'm running in Paris too.
It was cool.
Yeah, like Chavez, you're not getting the Eiffel Tower signature.
One more, I guess, sort of just like update. I guess since the last time we sat down with you in Orlando, it was like at that point, like it was uncertain, like if we were gonna field a full team. Lenny officially going. What's that like? I guess to like have Lenny after just kind of like all of the uncertainty around. It was sad when I did like do the interview with him. I said to him, I was like, "Hey, did you celebrate in Orlando?" He was like, "No." And I was like, "Did you celebrate on May 5th when?" And obviously not. That's when the universality places came into things. And so then when it finally did get official, I was like, "Did you celebrate?" He was like, not really, but like it was just a massive like weight lifted off of his shoulders. I think Lenny's overdue like a major celebration.
Yeah, it was funny because I actually saw him for the first time since February at team processing. And so I finally got to approach him and be like, yo, like, congrats. Like, I'm so excited that you're part of this team because, I don't know, the more the merrier. Like, especially on a marathon course, it's like, I have a lot of respect for Lenny. I looked up to him for a long time. He trashed me on the roads for many years before I was able to trash him. But like, and he's just a down-to-earth guy. Like, he's really humble and he's a family man. And I really respect that. Yeah. And he obviously like serves and represents our country to the highest honor. Like, he's very patriotic, and I love that about him. So yeah, I guess in Paris we're gonna party it when we're done. You know, if he doesn't grab my bottle from from the volunteer, then I'll
tell him to stay away from your ketones.
Then we're gonna be all right. But I'm excited. I was asking him. I was like, hey, we were supposed to be on a team with him at Boulder 10K, and then he didn't. He scratched, and the teams got shuffled. And so I was asking him, I was like, are you healthy, or how's training? Like, and he seemed like he was in a good spot. And he, it's like, 6 weeks to go, right, before you taper.
Oh gosh, that's so soon.
So
I'm screwed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm excited to see what Team USA can do.
You're doing opening ceremonies?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coach Stone was like, look, your second Olympics are never guaranteed. You gotta experience this. And so yeah, I got kitted out today. It took 4 hours. Team processing took 4 hours. And it was really
explain
exciting
to the people
and cool.
who like don't know what's happening in there. It's like a lot of paperwork, then the uniform stuff. Like
Yeah.
what else?
Well, I guess you'll catch a glimpse of it on the docuseries. We shot it, but it'll be like 2 minutes instead of 4 hours. But yeah, so you try on all the kits, and they have like 3 different kits you can try on in different colors, and then you're getting all your Ralph Lauren stuff. You're getting your Team USA gear. You're getting you're doing your travel. You're doing your USADA, like your drug testing. You're doing your health checks, like your mental health, your physical health. You're getting some pajamas. You're trying on these pajamas. In fact, I had to have a conversation with Fred Curley in pajamas because he walked in. I was like, I got to talk to Fred.
Yeah.
And
what was that like?
Well,
He was in
Yeah.
the ad, right? For the pajamas, the Skims ad, right?
It's not Skims. It's a different pajama company. I'm gonna get fired because I don't know the name. But anyway, so it's just a lot of little things that took forever.
That is the funny part of just sort of like when you make a team, like someone like Fred walks in the room, like that's your teammate now.
Yeah.
And are there some of those people that you're kind of like looking forward to, like, hey, I love hearing the stories of like, oh, this sprinter is now all of a sudden really best friends with like this shot putter or anything like that. Are you like, hey, if I get the opportunity, I'd like to, get to know this person a little bit better? It's got to be Fred.
Yeah. I mean, Fred was a big part of it because he was an A6 athlete, and I really needed to hear his story as an A6 athlete myself, like to kind of understand that. And so it was good to see Fred and to kind of listen to him and yeah, so it was really cool to see him, and he was really chill about it too. Like he was very approachable and talked to me and took some time, and that was really cool. And
I love that polar opposites, 100 marathon.
Yeah, and I've heard that he has respect for the distance athletes, but who knows? I don't know if he goes as high up as marathon, but
He thinks he could steeplechase. Like,
dude, steeplechase mile, maybe Fred Curley.
Maybe Fred Curley.
Yeah, there we go.
That could be fun. And
Obviously,
then,
I want to dap up LeBron James on the boat, but we'll see what if that
That'd be a
happens.
good dap.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
one
awesome.
guy. King.
I have a
Yeah.
bet with Rory Linkletter to see if we can dap him up, but he's
Yeah.
going to be on a different boat. And actually, he won't be there for opening ceremonies. Right?
Yeah,
Canada,
it's going to be tough to
Yeah.
get LeBron access, I bet.
yeah. So we'll see what happens. But Clayton, it's been awesome just kind of like following along in the journey and just watching everything unfold. And you've made so many fans just over the last couple months. And I'm excited for Paris.
Likewise. Super excited. See you out there.
See
luck,
you
Chris.
there.
Yeah, good
You're
luck.
dragging my body out there, yeah.
Best of luck with training.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to need every little
Come
bit
train
of
in
luck.
Provo.
Might have
We'll
to.
feature you. You
In
can in the docuseries, yeah.
You're going to need a second cameraman to hang way back with me.
Andrew's good at that.
Perfect. All right. Awesome. That does it for day 5 of CITIUS MAG live from Eugene. We'll be back tomorrow morning for Good Morning Track and Field with Eric and Mitch and Karen. Even though there's an off day, we're still bringing the vibes. And then we'll be doing our show again with a loaded just slate of more guests who are fresh off of qualifying for the Olympic team. Vibes are high here in Eugene. Even though it's day 5, we do that. I love track and field. There
Fun.
it is. It's on the hat.
Yeah.
There it is. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.